If you got $10,000 saved up and you're trying to figure out what to do with it, this is the video for you. I spent 14 years in real estate, fixing and flipping properties and building rental portfolios for higher net worth individuals. And 2 years ago, I put everything I had and I went all in on vending machines. Today, I'm gonna talk about when you invest $10,000 into 3 different vehicles: index funds, rental real estate, and vending machines. We're gonna look at all the returns, the risks, the time commitment, and what the money looks like after 5 to 10 years. Now, I have to be upfront, these are estimates on historical averages and what I've personally seen firsthand. This isn't financial advice, but what I can tell you is what the math looks like behind real numbers. And by the end of this video, you're gonna understand why I stopped chasing real estate deals and went all in on vending. Let's break it down. Okay, let's start with what most people consider the safe option: putting your money in an index fund. Here's the traditional wisdom: put your money in an S&P index fund. Leave it alone and let it compound interest and let it do its thing. Retire in 30 or 40 years. And look, there's nothing wrong with this approach. It's simple, it's passive, and historically it works well over a long period of time. Let's look at the actual numbers. The S&P 500 has returned historically a 10% average every single year. That's before inflation. After inflation, you're looking at more like 7%. But let's be generous and let's use the 10%. So this is what $10,000 actually looks like in the fund. Year 1, $11,000 total. Year 2, $12,100. Year 3, $13,300. Year 4, $14,641. After 5 years of just a 10% average annual return, your $10,000 has roughly turned into $16,000. You made about $6,000 in gains. And after 10 years, you're roughly like around $26,000. You made about $16,000 in gains. Now here's the thing about the index funds. That 10% is an average. Some years you're up 20, some years you're down 30. In the year 2022, the S&P almost dropped down to like around 20%. And in 2008, it dropped down 40%. And if you need that money during a down year, you're selling at a loss or you're waiting years for it to recover. The other reality, that $6,000 gain over 5 years, you can't touch it without resetting the clock. Can't use it to pay your bills. It's locked up if you want to keep it compounding. And $16,000 after 10 years is nice. It's not life-changing money, and it's definitely not quitting your job money. Don't get me wrong, index funds have a place in a portfolio. I'm not saying don't invest in the market. If you're looking for something to replace your income and build cash flow for you now, $10,000 in an index fund isn't going to get you there. All right, now let's talk about real estate. This is where I've had a lot of firsthand experience. I was in real estate for 14 years. From 2009 to 2016, I owned a consulting firm. We did fix and flips, and I consulted on building rental portfolios for higher net worth individuals. From 2016 to 2023, I was head of business development for a real estate boutique firm. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of real estate investing. So let's look at what $10,000 actually gets you in real estate. Here's the first problem. $10,000 isn't even enough. The average down payment for a rental property is on average anywhere from 20 to 25%. Even on a $200,000 property, that's $40,000 to $60,000 just for the down payment. Then you got closing costs, another 2 to 5% of the purchase price, another $4,000 to $10,000. So right out the gate, $10,000 doesn't even get you in the door. You're $30,000 to $50,000 short. But let's say you find a cheap property. Maybe you find something for $100,000. 20% down is still $20,000. You're still $10K short. Let's just imagine that you figure out a way to make it work. You find a property, you scrape together the down payment, close on your first rental. Now the real fun begins. You got a mortgage payment every month, whether you have a tenant or not. You have property taxes, insurance, maintenance and repairs, property management fees, if you don't want to deal with the tenants yourself, that is. And here's what nobody talks about. Tenants don't always pay rent on time. I've seen landlords go months without collecting. And evictions can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months depending on the state. Things break, furnace goes out in January, that's $5K. The roof needs repaired, that's $10,000. That pipe burst, there goes your cash flow for the year. Vacancies happen. Average vacancy rates anywhere from 5 to 10%. That's a half a month to a full month of no income every single year. Let's look at realistic cash flow. On a $100,000 rental property, after mortgage, taxes, insurance, and vacancies, you might cash flow anywhere from like $200 to $300 a month. If everything goes well, that's anywhere from $2,400 to $3,600 a year. On a $20,000 investment, talking about anywhere from 12 to 18% cash on cash return in a good year. But here's the risk. One bad tenant wipes that whole year of cash flow away. One major repair wipes away 2 years. And you're personally liable for that mortgage if that property performs or not. After 5 years in real estate, with no major issues, you've made maybe 15 to 20K in cash flow. You built some equity and you've paid down the principal on your mortgage. But you also dealt with headaches, stress, and high risk. Worst case scenario, you have problem tenants, major repairs or vacancies. You're barely broken even, or worse, you lost money. This is why I got out of real estate. The returns were unpredictable, the headaches were consistent, and the barrier to entry was massive. $10,000 doesn't even get you started. And even when you're in, one bad year can wipe out everything. All right, let's talk about if you put that same $10,000 into vending machines. Unlike real estate, $10,000 is more than enough to get started. Let's say you use that $10,000 strategically. You finance your first machine with 5 to 10% down. The payment of the machine is like around $150. The cost of goods to fill up the machine the first time is anywhere from $600 to $900. You keep the rest as operational capital. With $10,000, you realistically could start with 2 to 3 machines and still have enough cash reserved for inventory and unexpected expenses. Now let's look at the returns. A well-placed vending machine will do anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 a month at the location. Let's be conservative and let's just say $2,000 a month. Your cost of goods is anywhere from 35 to 40%. Your credit card processing and software fees are another 10%. So you're looking at anywhere from 50 to 55% gross margins. On $2,000 revenue, it's $1,000 to $1,100 gross profit. Minus your machine payment of like $150, minus your soccer labor from anywhere from $100 to $150. You're netting around $680 to $830 per month per machine. Let's do the math on $10,000 invested. Let's start with 2 machines where you're profiting $800 a month each. That's $69 per month per profit. That's $19,200 per year. Your $10,000 investment is returning over 200% in year 1. But here's where it gets interesting. You reinvest. You take those profits and you add more locations. By month 6, you add location number 3. By month 12, you add locations number 4 and 5. Now you're at 5 machines doing $800 each. That's $4,000 a month, $48,000 per year. After 5 years of consistent reinvestment, if you keep adding locations and scaling efficiently, you could be realistically at anywhere from 15 to 20 locations. You could be doing anywhere from $12,000 to $16,000 a month in profit. That's $144,000 to $192,000 per year from a $10,000 starting investment. Compare that to your other options. Index funds after 5 years is $16,000 total and only $6,000 in gain. And in real estate after 5 years, you're anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 a year in cash flow. And that's if everything goes perfect. Vending after 5 years, potentially $150,000 plus per year in passive ongoing cash flow. And here's the kicker. Those vending machines are also assets. They keep producing income month after month. And vending machines sell from anywhere from 1 to 1.5x of revenue. So your 15 to 20 location vending operation doing $150,000 per year, your vending route now is worth anywhere from $360,000 to $540,000 if you ever want to go ahead and sell. Now let's talk about something that people don't consider enough. Risk-adjusted returns. It's not about how much money you can make. It's about how likely you are to actually make it. And that happens when things go wrong. Index funds risks. Market volatility, you have zero control. Can drop 20 to 40% in a bad year. Timeline risks. You need the money during a down year. Inflation eats into your real returns. But the upside, truly passive, no work required, diversified across hundreds of companies. Now for the real estate risks. High barrier to entry, 40 to 50K minimum, tenant risk, non-payment, evictions, and property damage. Maintenance risks. One major repair wipes out 1 year of profit. Market risks. Property values can drop. Liquidity risks. Can't sell quickly if you need the cash. Personal liability. You're on the hook for that mortgage. And the time commitment, finding deals, managing tenants, or finding a property manager. Handling repairs and maintenance, and it's not passive unless you pay somebody else to do it. Vending risks. Location underperforms, but you can move the machine, right, Colin? Yep. We just did it. Machine breaks, they're under warranty if you buy new. Vandalism, insurance covers it. Here's what I've learned. If the location isn't working after 90 days, I pull the machine and relocate it to another location. That's not possible with a rental property. Just can't pick it up and move it over to a better neighborhood. The failure rate differences. In vending, if you follow the system, pick high foot traffic locations, match the machines to the demographic, stock what sells, provide good service, it's very hard to fail because you're providing something to people that they actually need. People will always need snacks and drinks. It's not dependent on market conditions or interest rates. The time of profitability. Index funds take decades to build meaningful wealth. Real estate takes years to build cash flow, and that's assuming even if you could get started. Vending, your first machine can be profitable in 30 or 60 days. Let's talk about what nobody wants to admit, the time of these investments of what they actually require. Index funds, truly passive. Set up an automatic investment, check it once a quarter, maybe rebalance it once a year. Total time, few hours per year. This is one advantage that index funds has. They almost require zero time. Real estate, not passive at all. Finding deals, hours of research, property visits and negotiations, closings, weeks of paperwork, inspections, back and forth, managing, tenant calls, maintenance coordination, and rent collection. Even with a property manager, you're still involved in big decisions. I've seen people spend anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a month on a single rental property. And that's when things are going well. Vending, passive once you build your systems. In the beginning, yes, it absolutely takes work. Finding locations, learning the business, maybe stocking machines yourself. But here's the difference. You'd hire a stocker for 20 to 25 bucks an hour. One stocker can handle 10 to 15 locations. You build systems and remove yourself from the day-to-day. I work 8 to 10 hours a week on my 45 location operation, and that's before I hire Colin. Now I only work like what, Colin? It's like 30 minutes a day. We check in 5 days a week. So like, I don't know, 3 hours, 2 hours. Most of that is strategic, looking at numbers and planning growth. I'm not stocking machines. I'm not putting out fires. It's fucking Colin's job now. Yeah. The path to passive, month 1 through 6. You're learning and doing the work yourself. Month 6 through 12, you hire your first stocker and you start removing yourself from the day-to-day operations. Month 12 plus, you're working on the business and you're not working in it. Real estate never gets there unless you pay a property manager 8 to 10% to get there. And even then, you're still dealing with the big issues. All right, let's zoom out and let's take a look at what these investments can do after 10 years. Again, these averages are based on historical figures and everything that of what I've seen. Your results will vary, and this is not financial advice. $10,000 in index funds after 10 years at a 10% annualized return, you're at roughly $26,000. You gained about $16,000. Still not enough to change your life. Still not producing cash flow. Still depending on selling to access those gains. $10,000 in real estate after 10 years, assuming that you could ever get started with just $10,000, and assuming everything goes well. Maybe you've built 50 to 100K in equity in appreciation. Maybe you made $30,000 to $40,000 in cumulative cash flow. But you also dealt with tenant turnover, repairs and maintenance, stress and time commitment, and you're still dependent on one property performing. $10,000 in vending after 10 years. If you reinvest profits and keep scaling, you could realistically build a 30 to 50 location operation, doing anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 a month in profit. That's anywhere from $300,000 to $480,000 per year. And here's the thing, that operation is an asset. Routes sell for 1 to 1.5x of revenue. $1 million revenue operation could sell for $1 million. The wealth building differences. Index funds, you turn 10K into 26K. Nice, but not life-changing. Real estate, you built $100,000 in equity. Better, but it took forever and it took a lot of work. Vending, you've potentially built a business from anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million plus. That's producing $300,000 per year in cash flow. That's the difference between saving for retirement and building generational wealth. I've done real estate, I've done the corporate thing, and I've done vending. Nothing has given me the returns, the freedom, and the peace of mind like vending has. If you want to learn how to get started the right way, check out the link in the description for Vendingpreneurs. It's the same community that helped me go from a laid off dad to 100K month in revenue in under 2 years. This is Anthony from Mike Hoffman and Vendingpreneurs. I'll see you on the next one.